Burnout is one of those topics that are really all over the place, but something that we can agree on is that it's not a good place to be. You get trapped in this loop of feeling like you're not doing enough, which leads you to try to do more, but the work is lackluster or it doesn't meet your expectations. Then that leads you to stop. And so then again, you start to feel like you're not doing enough and you get trapped in this loop. But I often find that the solution is quite simple. And we've been misled to kind of overcomplicate this. And here I want to lay out what actually works for the majority of people. I worked a 9 to 5 before. I was in the military, which is basically 24/7 work. I've worked night shift. I'm an entrepreneur now. So I like to think I have some experience in each area, or at least enough to give you a baseline to start from. And avoiding burnout really comes down to two fundamental things. There's more, but these are the two I want to get into. And that's having fun and understanding that rest is a crucial part of productivity. And when I say rest, I actually mean good rest, not just sleep. Rest is taking a day off to do something you enjoy or going out with your friends. That's rest. So first we're going to get into the importance of fun. To start, fun is a misunderstood word. Fun, what it really means is taking a lighthearted approach to things. I know when we hear the word fun, we think of running around on the playground or pizza parties and a lot of other things where you're jumping and shouting for joy. But really, it's just taking a lighthearted approach to something. And you can apply this to work. You can apply this to the gym. You can apply this to your hobbies. You can apply this to even tough situations. Before we get to the steps to fix this, I want to talk about why fun and enjoyment is neglected these days. One of the main reasons I notice we don't like having fun or taking things lightly is all this content with the alpha male, sigma male, alpha female, sigma female, the lone wolf mentality, that kind of thing. The things you see when you scroll. That content has this weird message of you're not allowed to have fun. Along with that, you have several people on the internet telling you, you have to get up at 4 o'clock and cry all day and go to sleep at midnight. And if you didn't suffer enough, you didn't do anything productive. And this is the message that's constantly pushed out to us. Also things like encouraging monk mode. I made a video about that a little while ago. You know how I feel about that? And then we have things like adding way too many extra steps to simple things. You got to get up and take a cold shower, meditation, and all these other unnecessary things. I'm not discounting some of them. However, what happens is when we start to collect all this material and we watch this content, we start to think that this is what we need to do. Otherwise, we're a failure. I hope that makes sense to you. And whether you want it to happen or not, a lot of this content is really conditioning your mind to think that way. And I really believe that's why this generation upcoming is in the sad and depressed state all the time. It's because you have these very unrealistic standards to meet and you don't feel correct doing the correct things. So let's get into some steps to fix this. Really, it comes down to finding enjoyment in things. And one way to do this is to look forward to the future. Really take the time to sit down and think about how whatever you're suffering through or complaining about, how it's going to benefit you in the future. You can also do what I've suggested before, which is imagine you're creating a character. And this is kind of your origin story. And whatever you're doing now that's kind of leading you to burnout is going to actually lead to a more prosperous setting for you. I always think about how when I was in university in Japan, I used to work night shifts right after that. But at the same time, I was studying software engineering, which is what I do now. And at that time, it was very difficult to stack school with work with studying that. However, something I always thought about is basically what I have going on now, which is me sitting down coding. When I'm done with that, I'm able to go do what I want to do. I can play music, I can go to the gym, I can go to my training, and all those kinds of things. And I really want you to think about things in your life that maybe you suffered through for a bit, but they actually turned out to give you a better situation after all. And it doesn't really have to be that serious either. Maybe you go to the gym And one of your inspirations to get you into the gym, especially these days, is like movies and anime and video games. That's why a lot of people are in there. So I would say embrace that. Even though the repetitions suck and your muscles are burning and you're tired and you may want to throw up or you want to leave the gym, embrace that and think about that inspiration that got you there in the first place. And then also think about how you're going to feel, how you're going to look, how you're going to perform. And I'm not saying run around the gym with your arms behind you, but try to get in character when you're training. Think about those things. Even if you're at a 9 to 5, think about maybe one day you'll be sitting on the beach enjoying vacation. Overall, my point is you don't have to make things as serious as they need to be. Whether it's work, whether it's leisures, whether it's a rough time in your life, try to flip it to a point where you're getting towards the future. It's really going to help you avoid burnout because you kind of add a purpose to whatever you're going through. And that usually is all we really need. We kind of just need a reminder of what we're doing in the first place. And I want to make a note that this is not deceiving yourself. Yes, things are difficult. We're not trying to make this into a 100% pain-free experience. That's not what I'm saying. All I'm saying is we're trying to flip it for a better outcome. And really, it's just rewiring our brains from all this content that's pushed on us from people on YouTube and Instagram and those kinds of things. To get into another very important aspect of burnout, rest is not quitting. And in fact, rest is a key aspect of productivity and good mental health. And so an actionable step you can start to take now is to really research the benefits of rest. Maybe look back in your past and think about times you didn't rest, and maybe that impacted your performance in some way. And on the inverse, times that you did rest and how that made your performance a lot better. And remember, rest just doesn't mean sleep. Rest means quality time away from those things that you're trying to improve on or trying to build. I really want to drive this point home because this is a mistake I made in my 20s. I was grinding myself to the core, and you'll get things done. Like I mentioned in my monk mode video, you can check that out another time. But I was getting things done. However, the quality wasn't as good as it should have been. And I did miss out on a lot of things. And that's not something I want any of you all to do. And I want to note also, this does not mean try to be lazy and mask it as rest. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying once you reach a point where you've worked hard, you've done what you've had to do, and you really are needing some rest, that's the time to take rest. And you're not going to gaslight yourself into thinking that you should be doing something or that you're wasting time. If that's the case, you need to continue building a good relationship with rest, because that means you still have a bad idea of what rest is. Something important to be aware of is that when you are done resting, do not try to make up for the days that you rested. This completely eliminates the benefit of resting. And honestly, what it does is it creates this really unhealthy relationship with your work or with your tasks or with your hobbies or productivity in general. And that's what we're not wanting to do here. So if you didn't study on a certain day, do not try to double down on the next day. Or even at the gym or your diet, if you ate something, a pizza, don't try to go to the gym the next day and burn that pizza off, because you're creating unhealthy relationships with your rest times. I would rather you take this part of the video more serious than anything else, because the reality is, on the internet, for every person like me telling you it's okay to rest, there's going to be 10 other people telling you no days off, monk mode, grind till you die, and all this other stuff. And I'm telling you from experience, that is not the way to go. And as a bonus tip, communicate with others how you feel. If you're burnt out, talk to your friends, talk to your family. Do not bottle it up and try to deal with it on your own. This is another mistake I made. I really don't want you doing this. Go talk to people. Maybe find a community online. Watch this video again if you need to. Just make sure you're communicating these things. I found this extremely helpful in my life as far as avoiding burnout and establishing a good relationship with rest and making things a little more lighthearted. It's really helped me accomplish a lot. You can look to my channel and see for yourself, but most of this comes from what I'm talking about here. And my goal is just to get this out to you, especially in today's world where you have many people saying the exact opposite. Anyhow, if you did enjoy this video, consider leaving a like. It helps the channel out a lot. Also, if you have not subscribed, go ahead and do that. If you don't subscribe, I'm going to send this Koopa Troopa to come see you tomorrow, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.